The second week of Rings of Power, the 4th episode, the episode where Gandalf maybe takes a bath.
But surely that's not the most interesting thing that happens, is it?
No, it is. We'll go through it though, just in case we missed anything.
Just in case you guys missed anything.
We get 20 minutes of elves in this hour and 5-minute show, and we get that 20 minutes of elves broken up 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. And in between that, you get not Gandalf, Nori, and Arondir. Just because.
It's weird because you think it has the perfect formula to make it go really quick by being like lots of short stories back to back, but it does the opposite. The short stories feel like a lifetime. So it's like this weird feeling you get where you're like, oh, was that an hour? And wow, that felt like a lifetime all at the same time.
You're bored the whole time, but then it's over and you're kind of shocked that it's over because so little happened.
Yeah.
Like you would expect there to be a beginning, middle, and end to an episode of TV. But instead, for Galadriel's journey, she starts a new quest. So we get like some lovely fellowship shots. It doesn't feel expansive because each of these fellowship shots are so quick. Like it's like, bwam, here's some cliffs, bwam, here's some rocks, bwam, here's a river. And then we cut in on her and she's just like in another place. So I guess good that they're not just teleporting every character like they have been. The quest doesn't end. Like there is no real end. It's just like they got somewhere, then they had to turn back, basically.
Yeah.
Nori's quest is just she's in one place the whole time. Gandalf gets somewhere, stays there the whole time. And Arondir...
Well, he completed his quest, but then started a new quest.
So he has at least the most structurally complete episode, but I still don't give a shit about him or this stupid-ass kid.
What did you think about the introduction in this episode of Indiana Jones travel lines like across the map?
I originally didn't mind it in season 1 because it kind of felt like they were trying to show me the world, but now it seems like they're using it as a way to teleport characters. So it's just kind of annoying me, especially because we only get 5 minutes of Galadriel. They're like showing her, and then they do the line, showing her someone else, do the line, then we're at another character completely. And it's just jarring and pointless.
I think if it's done good, it can be nice.
I think it has to be done sparingly is the thing.
When I read The Hobbit, it was like every few chapters, it would have like a little map, or it'd be like, refer to the map on the back, and you'd go to the map on the back, and you'd be like, oh, that's where they're going.
These are all zoomed in though, so I still don't know how big the world is.
But I think that's what they're trying to show, I think, like a convergence.
They're making it Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones ruined literally every other fantasy show. Like
Including
massive...
their own?
Yes. They're like busy showing us so many plot lines, and this is especially bad for it because they've introduced 2 new groups of people that we didn't need. Like we've now got Tom Bombadil and we've got the not half-foots.
The Sandfoots.
It's just more things for us to focus on, and now we've got all those characters that they rescued from the Ents as well joining the pack. But Galadriel is... They're getting to a Region, basically. Like, they're doing what we think they should have been doing from episode 1. As soon as they got the rings, she should have been like, oh shit, what if Sauron goes to make more rings or do something else fucky? Like, the king should have at least said, oh god, that means a Region is, like, under the influence of Sauron. We need to go have a presence there. So he sends 2 guys. But we're like, send the chick that is the most against Sauron. Like, she has the most to gain. Because she's hated him for like 2,000 years now.
He's in command of all of the elves in the human realm. So it's like, surely he has some pull and he can be like, all right, everyone, let's all like, you know, divert some troops here. Elrond says, because he's leading the party now, he says, I need 2 swordsmen, an archer, and I need you to subscribe to Bergenbeard.
Yeah, I need 2 swordsmen and an archer. And it is the most diverse group of elves you've ever seen in your life. We get a black guy elf, an Asian woman elf, a white guy elf that isn't Elrond. That's important because we also have Elrond. So you immediately know that the white guy elf is probably going to die.
And a ginger elf.
They send this crack team of elves by foot. Like, that was the most shocking thing when they zoomed in.
So we see Galadriel and Elrond on horseback doing a little chasey from Eregion to Lindell in the first episode. So we know that there's a path for horses, and even the messengers go by horse. There was always a trek for horses. It's not like, oh no, we know that we can't use horses.
It definitely feels like an excuse just to make the time gap of the first 3 episodes make sense, because we're like those whole 3 episodes we're like, why hasn't she just gone? So they make her argue with the king for ages, and then they go by foot. Strange. But he says it's 1,500 leagues, which you worked out was
150 leagues,
but that's the only reference we have to like distance, and I think he says that's from the bridge, not from where they're going, so we still have no like scale of the world.
Why not just say, and I feel like they've never used like a length
3
of distance like that.
days.
3 days travel. Oh, it's going to add 2 weeks travel to our thing. why say leagues? And also, if it's going to be travel that's going to take a certain number of leagues, wouldn't a horse make that a lot easier? Because aren't you worried about the Dark Lord potentially corrupting your greatest craftsman and then destroying the entire world with what he's creating?
We know they have boats too, so like maybe a boat would be quicker on the outside. I don't know, but it's a massive time sink for literally no reason. But then she finds a bridge that's been knocked out by Sauron, she says. The whole episode, she's like twisting the ring, getting visions of like spooky things happening, and she's like touching things, and she's like, this is evil. Like, trust me, guys.
And Elrond's like, stop touching that fucking ring.
Yeah, he's still so against the ring despite it saving everyone. And it seems to be proven that Sauron had no involvement in those rings. And in the books, it's not until the One Ring is made that he even gets control of those rings. And as soon as he does make the One Ring, he like puts it on and they're like, oh no, bad. They take their rings off. So like, they should be fine and they should know they're fine.
But Elrond's just superstitious. And I think they're kind of ruining his character. Like, he was such a good character in season 1.
Well,
he was probably the most likable character.
Him and Durin are really good. Apparently by himself, he sucks.
Yeah.
But like him and Durin,
but they changed his character. He went from like, he kind of had a bit of like
hopeful.
He had a bit of like nobility, and he seemed very human-like, which like maybe that's part of his character because he's like half caste. You know, he's best friends with the dwarf, and he's like, I'm sorry. Like, he felt sorry, and you could see him kind of trying to atone for things, but then he's also tied to his elven side. Well, now he's just all, I don't know, he's become just like a politician asshole now.
Yeah, I mean, the king even says, I think in episode 1, he's like, you're just a politician. So I guess he's just been like, okay, fine.
But now he's also commanding like Galadriel and their troop, and is giving them battle tactics.
And the elves in the show just suck in general because they're meant to be like 4,000 years old and like they're meant to be wise as hell. And they all just act like normal men. Like, there's no difference between the people in this show and the elves in this show.
These are our British characters.
Yeah, the elves are just bigger wankers.
Yeah.
Like, they just sound wankier. They're not, like, smarter or better in any way. They're just wankers.
And a lot of the time, they're not doing cool elven tricks and stuff. We're not seeing him do that.
Until our gal Galadriel needs to, like, girl boss her way out of a situation, which she does twice. I think you called it the worst fight scene you've ever seen.
Yeah, so, like, the first one is they fight a bunch of wights, and it's just, like, the creatures that we've seen kill people instantly and, like, shackle them with ghost chains and, like, drag them instantly under a thing. And
they immediately kill the black guy.
They do.
Which is hilarious if you've seen Evolution.
I seen this movie. The black dude dies first.
But like, as soon as they start fighting, the wights just like stand still and don't do anything and let them like swing on them. Like, they're just like standing like, ooh.
Like they cut back to him multiple times with like the chains just menacingly doing
and
this.
They give time for Elrond and another one to open a tomb, find weaponry, and then Elrond runs back to get Galadriel, who's getting dragged into a thing, and save her.
The only thing about that as well is it's not a cool realization or like it's not alluded to in any way. It's literally just at some point during the scene that's almost pitch black, Elrond just realizes in his head how to beat them and then executes that plan entirely. And then in midway through executing that plan, he's like, oh, by the way, the only thing that can kill them, according to legend, because I'm a book read guy, is this sword. Shouldn't they all know that? They're all 4,000.
Very true. But he's a nerd. This adventure should have been Galadriel's trying to lead with like how a general of an army would lead, but he's learned. But because he's in charge, they're not doing things how she would do it. They're doing things how he's doing it, but she has to like come to terms with like, even though he hasn't put things into practice, he's smart.
Yeah.
Like, I have to trust
But even
him.
then, that would only work if their relationship was that. Instead, it's just like, she's like, I want to use the ring. And he's like, stop using that ring. And we thought she would save the day with the ring. And then Elrond would be like, oh, I guess the ring is helpful. Like, even if it's evil, using it for good purposes is possible, which is like a massive thing in Tolkien. Thinking you can use evil to do good and inevitably being wrong.
She's not getting corrupted by the power if she's using it for good at the moment.
Yeah, which she proves later on as well, but just taking it off.
Yeah.
She's like, no corruption here, buddy. Take the ring. Because they run into the orcs after their little white quest, which so we think Arondir is also about to meet up with them. Like, we think they are actually Game of Thrones trying to bring everything together, which will make it a little bit more streamlined. But I think it's so they can have that big fight that's in the trailer.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure Arondir is there.
We're doing like a battle of the three armies kind of thing, where it's going to be like Sauron is maybe fighting against Arondir, who's also fighting against the elves.
They're all going to a region.
Yeah.
Which kind of also feels like an expensive way to extend your season, which I guess I won't be mad at when it's happening. If it's a cool fight, I'll be like, oh shit, this is cool
I
as
think
hell.
that's going to be our season finale, by the way.
It'll be the last 3 episodes, yeah.
This is our mid-season,
Yeah,
by
this is
the
our
way.
mid-season finale is like Galadriel meets Adar, which she gives the ring to Elrond and says like, oh, run away, I'll protect you. And then she girl bosses a little bit.
She heals a guy first.
Yeah, using magic ring power, which if this is your first introduction to Lord of the Rings, you'll have no fucking clue what those magic rings do.
You're like, why doesn't Frodo do that more often?
They can heal trees, it can make fish jump out of the water, and it can heal arrow wounds.
And you can see the future with them. She sees the future all the time.
Then one of the elves is like, oh, she's so noble and girl bossy, she saved us, she sacrificed herself. And Elrond's like, she sacrificed herself to save the ring. Bum, bum, bum.
He's just a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, okay, we get it. You hate the ring.
Get that man Durin. Get that man his boyfriend back.
But then he also has a ring, so he's going to be like, not you too.
Oh yeah, is he going to put it on? Maybe. Ooh.
Just before she meets Adar, we get another weird fight scene. The orcs are supposed to be like Zerg, right? Like all just like swarming you like crazy people. But instead, she's just like doing the bare minimum, fighting like one at a time, like shooting them with a bow. And they're surrounding her. And I guess like they're trying to be like, they're so in awe of her. No, these guys are like battle hardened and like, you know, they have
Bred for
Adar
war.
with them as well.
The thing I kept thinking the whole time is like, oh my god, she's killing all these fathers, all these loving fathers
These
and
dads
husbands.
who got conscripted to war.
And she's just mowing them down, this heartless bitch. But that like 3 things. So leaving town, find bridge, attack wights, attack orcs, meet Adar. That's broken up into 4 different sections, 5 minutes a pop.
Yeah.
That makes up for so little part of the episode. And if anything, it should be the most interesting. Like, she's going to go fight Sauron. Like, she is the goal.
She's the lead of the show. It's rings of power. She has a ring.
And yeah, we get piss all with her. And then the rest of it's broken up between Gandalf taking a bath and Nori having a chat to people.
How do you feel about Gandalf meeting God?
Tom Bombadil.
Do you think it was brave of them to be like, hey, this thing that we didn't think was important enough to have in the movies, we're going to adapt it for the screen?
Especially because he can't do anything.
And also, it's not based on anything.
Yeah, it's literally to reference Tom Bombadil.
But we get to see this show's version of it, which I don't like.
He's played by the Black Mirror president that fucks a pig, so that's always fun. The show keeps doing it, and it's just mysterious characters. Like, Nori even calls Gandalf the Stranger in this episode.
Oh my God.
But they talk about the Dark Wizard, and then they cut to the Dark Wizard, and like everyone with Amazon Prime has access to X-Ray. So if you press X-Ray, it comes up with their names and the actors' names, and it's always mysterious. It just doesn't have a name there.
Yeah.
And then it's just like occasionally Dark Wizard, or for Tom Bombadil, it doesn't say his name. And then he goes, "Oh, they call me Bombadil," and then immediately goes, "Boop." And like he's now Tom Bombadil according to the show, but they keep not naming characters so that they can like do a bomb drop with it.
Yeah.
Like it's even pivotal to the episode with Nori's way of getting out of captivity from the Sandfoots. She's like, "Oh, our leader was this guy," and she's like, "Oh, this guy?" And then like that guy was written on their cave painting. I'm like, okay, sure.
Thank God they name dropped him, the one important person they should name drop.
Gandalf gets so many references to being Gandalf.
Yeah, if it doesn't end up being him, this show is going to be like, ha, we got you. But it's like, come on.
It's like, that's a dick move. Because Nori calls the stick that he's looking for a Gand. I tried Googling, like, is a Gand a stick? No one has ever called a stick a Gand before.
It's because they're made up half language.
Yeah, like, that's a Gand in this show. And then
When she's talking to the sand people, she goes, he's a giant. And it's like, so he's an elf. It's like, no, bigger than an elf. And what do they say?
a Grand Elf. And it's like, fuck.
Shut up. Shut the hell up.
Men are giants to halfwits as well. So when she says, "Oh, he's a giant," and they're immediately like elf, like that's just leading into it. She could have been like, "Oh, they're people,"
Or actual giants, because giants are a thing in this show called giants.
and they have people that come into their village later in the episode that are also just people that are also giants to them. So it's just stupid. But Gandalf meets Tom Bombadil, has a bath, and then says, "Can you teach me magic?" And he goes, "Oh, the magic's inside of you all along. You're not worthy yet, but you will be." He tries to steal a branch from a tree, a Gand from a tree, and then the tree sucks him up. So we get 2 sentient trees in this episode.
Yeah.
We get Ents later on, and we get this random tree that isn't an Ent, but also sucks up people.
The giving tree.
And we're like, cool. So he must get his stuff from that tree once he's worthy.
Well, he's going to ask for it this time.
Yeah.
He's going to say, can I please have it? Because he was stroking that tree Real nice.
Nori's fine. Like, we knew she would be, because even though she got thrown 1,000 feet by a
Her and
tornado.
Poppy, these tiny little people got flung into a hurricane.
And they're together. Like, they landed 3.5 feet apart. And it's like, cool. But there you go wondering. They find Poppy's new crush. The show at least knows it's stupid because, like, Nori gives, like, the eye, like, are you guys flirting right now? But it just makes it cliche and stupid. But he takes her back to the people. So when we meet the Sandfeet, and that's literally, we said it already, like, they capture her and then she's like, oh no.
I was like, watch, this is what's going to happen. The leader of the Sandfeets comes out and she's like, give me one good reason. And she's like, the music swells and it's a slow zoom in on Nori. And she's like, I made a promise to my friend
I said one
that
good
I
reason.
would. It's like, I knew that shit was going to happen. I'm sick of these guys being like, don't you love it when this happens in a show? Let's add one of those in.
It does make it feel like it's their first time writing and they're just like doing all the cliches. I didn't need another character in Mordecai, whatever his name is, to fall in love with Poppy. Does that even wrap up? No, because the two bad guys come and say, hey, we're bad guys, where's the Halfwoods? And instead of saying who are the Halfwoods, she says, the only halflings we know are our people. And then they go, grr, and then they leave. And like that's where her story ends, right?
Yeah.
Cool show, thanks. I'm glad.
I'm really disliking it because this show will just introduce something that you know is a problem that they're going to solve, and it's just not done right. In this, they go to the Sandfeet and it's like, oh, we're going to have trouble with the Sandfeet, and then the Sandfeet are now our friends because they think maybe we're prophecy people. Isildur, whose story we'll get to, it's like he falls in love with this girl. She finds her boyfriend. It's like, Galadriel, we need to fight these people. They're not going to kill us. Here's the way to beat the wights.
I don't think they reference Isildur's girlfriend's husband at all in the first 3 episodes.
She said something like she was looking for family, maybe.
Oh, maybe. But this episode 4 times, she's like, oh, I need to find my betrothed. And Isildur's like, maybe if you find your betrothed, and then
is there a Mr. Slave Girl somewhere?
They're just about to kiss, and his betrothed is like, oi, oi.
She pulled a sword out on him, was going to kill him when he's like, please don't, and Don Lemon's about to kill him, and then they get attacked by the tree. And then the next scene is them kissing.
Yeah.
The next interaction, because she wakes up from getting knocked out. She's groggy from getting knocked out. He's going to kiss her.
She gets thrown 40 feet.
She could not consent. She had a concussion.
It's throwing up obstacles to basically just kill time.
Yeah. Well, that's what story writing is. No, it isn't. They give them these tiny hurdles that just don't feel important enough that... Yeah. It's like everything should make the characters grow a little bit.
That's the reason that an obstacle should exist.
Yeah.
Not just so that they can beat it and spend 15 minutes doing it. Not even that, 5 minutes. We don't learn anything about Nori. All we find out is that the guy that died last season was actually...
an offshoot family member.
The descendant of these desert people. So does that shrink the world or does that expand it?
Well, it expands it because they told him the legend of the Shire, maybe?
Yeah, but they call it a different name.
The Shorer.
So that's all they're doing. They just wanted a reason to be like, do you seen Lord of the Rings? Do you know the Shire? They're talking about it. You should watch our show. We spent $1 billion.
Grand Elf, ever heard of him?
Lose the R. Lose the hard R from Gandalf. Just because they're not doing the main quest doesn't make it a filler episode. It's a filler episode when the characters don't even grow. When everyone in the episode stays exactly the same. You could have one tiny thing happen in your episode, but if it changes where the character is, then you're fine. But Gandalf is in exactly the same spot he was. He's still wandering the desert.
I feel like Avatar The Last Airbender was really good because
that did great.
But even their fillers, their characters are learning.
Yeah, I wouldn't call any of those episodes a filler because there's a whole episode where Aang is freaking out and can't sleep because he has to face the Fire Lord.
Yeah.
That's something a 12-year-old would go through. He would be like, oh, maybe I can't kill this God King Emperor because I'm 12. And then that whole episode just explores that. That's not filler. That's character growth. But this show was just like, yeah, nah, fuck that. We're just going to put little obstacles because I need to fill out an hour, which makes it feel like this whole season is for the fight. They're like, okay, we're going to have a big fight at a Region, and we need to get Galadriel there, Arondir there, and Adar there.
And Sauron out of there and then back into there.
But we need to put a bunch of things in their things because we have 5 episodes to take care of before we get there.
Also, I wonder if Numenor is going to get there as well somehow.
Yeah, true. Numenor.
We didn't see any Numenor this episode.
Which is probably a blessing.
Yeah, thank God, honestly. We touched on Isildur a little bit. They pick up where their last kind of episode ended with the boy being kidnapped and they're like just looking in the forest, and Arondir keeps finding these little tiny cherry blossoms, and he's like, what is this?
After we constantly are hearing trees rustling and
Like creaking and
groans.
groaning, and you're like, this sounds familiar.
It must be the Whomping Willow, obviously.
must be.
The Whomping Willow took the kid.
But then it cuts to day immediately, and then we find out that Isildur's girlfriend, she burnt off her thing in the last episode, and she's like, no, I rolled into a fire. Haha, whoopsie, my bad.
And yeah, Arondir's just like, I saw your neck wound. It's something the village people do to hide their YMCA tattoos. But he didn't see her neck.
She's wearing clothes and has hair over it.
Yeah.
His elf eyes.
The elf eyes.
His elf eyes. He saw off of a bucket onto the back of her
Zoom
hair.
in and enhance on
But
your
then,
eyes.
so they shackle her up because they need her to lead them to the north end of the forest where she's like, I think there's evil there and stuff, and the mountain folk.
That's when he starts furrowing his brow.
And so for
he's
some
like,
reason, even though he's like, everybody gather your water and provisions, and everyone kind of squabbles around, it's just Isildur and his girlfriend and Arondir.
Isildur gets caught in quicksand, which is like gobbles him up. And we're like, that's weird.
Quick mud.
And then a giant centipede comes out. But it was a really weird cut, which is just like editing. And because like, I bet they had the shot where they come splurting out of like the gushing wound, but it looked like ass because CGI is hard. So instead, you see the knife come through, it cuts down, and then they're just sitting there like gasping up against a rock. Theirs is the worst for the whole day-night cycle we were talking about last week, where I think it's 3 days or something.
Yeah.
Like it's dark light, just on their little
Not
quest.
even just with the one character. Every time it alternates character, it's like nighttime, daytime, nighttime, daytime, nighttime, daytime.
Yeah.
It's so fucking jarring because you don't know if it's progressing time every time it's nighttime or daytime, or if they're on the same day-night cycle.
It's like they shot them completely separately as stories. They're like, okay, we're going to do day, night, day, night, day, night. Obviously, we can't fight the wights during the day because that wouldn't look spooky. So we have to fight them at night. And then when they went to edit this, they had all of these completely separate things, like storylines. And they're like, what do you want to put in episode 4? And they're like, shit, I don't know. We'll put 5 minutes of this story in. We'll put a little bit of Nori in there. We have a little bit of time left over. Some Gandalf.
Yeah.
Like, that's how they seem to have arranged this season. I didn't need to see Gandalf this episode. I didn't need to see Nori this episode.
I didn't need to see the Dark Wizard either.
Yeah, random cutaway to the Dark Wizard going, I am the Dark Wizard.
His 30-second scene of being like, sand people, why don't you have the Harfoot? They eluded us. He used magic. They're with the Sandfoots now. Well, you better get them. Looks at Slim Shady. Looks back at the Dark Wizard. That's it. And I'm like, cool. It's just so that Tom Bombadil and Gandalf can talk about the Dark Wizard.
We did miss that. They talk about the Dark Wizard and he
I
says...
taught him magic and he got evil with it.
Bombadil says that he's looking for someone more powerful than him to do evil stuff with, which just makes it sound like Saruman and Sauron, like, because then Saruman thinks that he can betray Sauron, like that whole thing. But I didn't think Saruman was evil yet because him and Gandalf were besties, but maybe they've decided it doesn't matter. This show doesn't care. But it's just a little weird thing that if it is Saruman, he's been evil for 2,000 years and Gandalf's just let him be evil.
And then he becomes Gandalf's mentor and like ally, and they fight the necromancer together and like teaches him everything and whatever, and then he goes back to being evil.
Arondir again. They find the Ents. Yeah.
And Arondir rizzes up an Ent. He's like, Bow.
Oh, you're a girl Ent?
Yeah, I've been mean to trees before, baby, but I'll never be mean to a tree again.
They did get the funny hark back. He's like, I'm a friend. And he's like, have you ever cut down a tree? He's just like having like PTSD flashbacks to the one time last season where he had to fight a tree. And everyone's like, oh, that's the most Tolkien thing ever. Like, not wanting to cut down a tree. So Tolkien. But it doesn't make it any better. But that's his whole arc. He's like, oh, I promise I won't fight trees anymore.
He's wearing like wooden armor and there's a fire on there. Like, she should have said like, hide that fire from my sight. It offends me.
Because she was concerned about the sword, because that's an axe to them, I guess.
What is that fell? It fells orcs. Oh!
There's a fire going on. Like, that needs to
They're
burn
burning
something,
wood.
guys.
There's wood in that fire.
Because the Ents aren't really bad guys, they just let the kids go.
And all the bad people who are actually bad people.
Who are now good guys.
Did they promise to never cut down trees again?
They did not.
I mean, I
on
think you'd
screen.
have PTSD though. It's like if a big hamburger took me captive, I'd probably never eat another hamburger.
You mean the Hamburglar?
He was a human.
That's true. Yeah, so they just set all these people free, and there's no discussion on screen about them being good guys anymore. But one of them is Isildur's girlfriend's husband.
Yeah, they're like, oh, baby, you're home.
Yeah, it's, again, so cliche. This wasn't written by people that like fantasy. Why did the kid go after them anyway?
Who fucking knows? He's dumb. And then Arondir's like, I must go. You can come with me. And the kid's like, I have my own promises to keep.
Yes, what promises?
I imagine he's going to become the king of that town or something.
What is happening? This episode's so pointless, but it ends with Galadriel meeting Adar, and that's kind of the only meaningful thing that happens. Are they friends? Did Galadriel know him before he went Morgoth?
An ex?
Ooh, that'd be spicy.
Is this going to be the second evil guy who wants her to be his queen?
Second queen?
What will the show do? What will next episode hold?
It was a very pointless episode that still took up an hour. And it seems like filler in every sense of the word.
This was 4 episodes in a row of filler.
Because realistically, all we are doing is getting Galadriel back to Eregion. Her and Elrond were already in Eregion. They left and now they're going back. So all they did was leave, save a tree, come back. And like everyone else is kind of converted. It's just boring and pointless.
Boring and pointless. This was $1 billion TV show.
The show still looks pretty enough.
I mean, when it does want to be, like those nice like fellowship shots, you know, I'm like, oh, that was pretty. But then it's like the dark shots are really dark. Some of like those village shots of like the Harfoots and like Tom Bombadil's kind of little shack. I'm like, that's pretty.
I think I enjoyed the first 3 episodes more. Maybe it was just there was more going on, or maybe it was the fact I sat down for 3 hours. So when it was over, I was happy it was over. Whereas with this, it did feel like nothing. It felt like the hour ended and I was like, oh shit.
1 whole week of waiting for this, and
Yes.
now you know that you're going to be waiting a whole another week.
Yeah, and they're not at the battle yet, so next week isn't going to be the battle. It's going to be Adar and Galadriel talk a bunch. We're going to get more Numenor.
Or the battle's going to start next episode, and then there's going to be the finale episode.
Yeah, that means Galadriel's going to side with Adar, and she's going to say, did you know Halbrand was Sauron? And he's like, fuck, he said he would kill Sauron. No!
I promised those women and children I'd protect them.
Next week will probably be everyone, I guess, because we have to get them all to Eregion.
Yeah.
Here's 2 people talking. Here's 2 people talking. Here's 2 people talking. True, 3-episode battle just means it's in 3 episodes. It could start at the end of 6.
Will we get Galadriel turning to Adar or something and be like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend?
I think it will be. It'll be more people realizing that Anatar is Sauron, which is kind of going to kill Sauron's whole vibe. If he's meant to be like the deceiver, is he only going to kind of deceive Celebrimbor in like 1 episode? He's barely going to get to deceive anyone before everyone knows that Anatar is Sauron. And it's like, cool, you had the one interesting thing this show has. Like, this show should have been the Sauron is the deceiver show. And you're killing that within an episode or 2 in season 2. It's stupid.
Whatever. I'm not looking forward to next week. But hopefully the battle looks good.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting bored of this show. Tell us what you think of this show.
Tell us what you like of this show.